over 55 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by the Georgia Farm Bureau in association with Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College.
Greetings, TV family, smartphone family, iPad, tablet, whatever you're watching us on. Welcome to another edition of the Farm Monitor, and let me just say how great it is to have my co-host back.
Yeah, it's good to be back after a week off, and there's a lot to cover, so let's get started. On today's show, after a drop in corn acreage last year, Georgia farmers are gearing up for a rebound in 2025. But with soaring costs and unpredictable weather, can they make it profitable? After one of the toughest years on record, Georgia's cotton growers gather for their annual meeting, hoping to turn things around for 2025. What challenges lie ahead and how can they overcome them?
Plus, we're sitting down with a Coffee County poultry farmer as he opens up about the emotional toll of rebuilding after Hurricane Helene. Just how does a family move forward after losing a generation's worth of work? Don't miss this powerful story of resilience and recovery. All this and much more starting right now on the Farm Monitor.
Between tight margins and unpredictable weather, Georgia corn growers have plenty to worry about heading into the 2025 season. That's why the annual UGA Corn Short Course is so valuable, giving farmers the latest research and techniques to boost efficiency. And as Damon Jones reports, the sooner they put them to use, the better.
After seeing a significant drop in acres of corn being planted in Georgia last year, those numbers look to be on the rebound in 2025, especially with the issues other crops around the state are experiencing.
I think that given some of the constraints with some of the other commodities, that we're probably going to see an increase in corn acreage this year. I have a prediction, but we'll see if it comes to fruition this year. But I think there's going to be a significant increase with the crop.
Despite seeing prices surge by more than 30% over the past 6 months, growers must still walk a fine line in order to turn a profit, especially with the ever-increasing cost of production.
To navigate that, we have to try to really manage our input efficiency the best we can, and really go back to the drawing board and count our pennies to make sure that we're being as efficient as possible with our agronomic or crop management plan for the season.
Another major issue for growers is the long periods of dry weather throughout the state each and every year. It's a factor that should always be accounted for when planning crop management.
I think we can bet that every single year there has been some sort of level of intermittent drought that has occurred. And so I think really staying on top of your nutrient management and understanding how a crop responds to drought or to a treatment or a fertilizer application that you're going to apply in the growing season.
The biggest defense against drought conditions is to implement preventative strategies as soon as possible.
We have to prepare that crop for those stressful environments instead of reacting to a common symptomology we may see in the field. If we be proactive and have a proactive mitigation strategy, then maybe we can alleviate some of that stress in the growing season, especially when it comes to drought.
With that in mind, it's never too early to start preparing, especially with planting season right around the corner.
Growers should obviously be focusing on making sure their equipment is ready, land preparation this time of year, making sure that they have a good plan in place to start the year as far as fertility, as far as weed management, preparing that ground, and then making sure that they have that plan A, plan B in place to be proactive in their approach to mitigate those mid-season or early season stresses that we can almost expect that are going to occur.
Reporting from Tifton, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Now to Atlanta, where the Georgia Green Industry Association hosted its annual Day at the Capitol, giving industry professionals and the next generation of horticulturists a unique opportunity to connect with lawmakers and have a say in the decisions shaping their future.
GGIA is the trade association for ornamental and environmental horticulture, so we are the green industry. And so one of the things that we're known for are the plants, the ornamental plants that we grow, all of our growers in the state of Georgia. And so one thing we're known for is to deliver house plants for all the legislators, decision makers, and staffers here at the state capitol, just to put a face to the name and to spread the word about what our sector does for the state.
Meantime, USDA has released its annual chicken and egg summary, which presents data on the number of egg layers, egg production, and the total U.S. chicken inventory as of December 1st, 2024. It's worth noting the report does not include the number of birds lost so far in 2025 due to avian influenza, which is estimated to be in upwards of 43 million. Barrett Nelson, an economist with American Farm Bureau, says the report gives important insight.
Layers in 2024 were estimated at an average of 375 million. Now, this is down about 2% from last year. Our egg production from layers totaled 109 billion eggs, down 1%. Lastly, let's talk about the overall chicken inventory. Now, this came in at 514 million birds, down about 2% from last year. Eggs have come up dramatically over the last couple of months. The average New York wholesale price for large eggs for the last week of January was $7.46 a dozen, more than 150% of where we were at $2.94 last year.
After a tough year where cotton prices didn't cover expenses, Georgia farmers are looking for ways to avoid a repeat. Thankfully, they had the chance to find some answers at their annual meeting. John Holcomb has the recap.
Recently in Tifton, cotton growers here in Georgia gathered for their annual meeting for a time of fellowship and education, which of course couldn't come at a better time, as growers saw one of the toughest years they've ever seen in 2024.
This is really an opportunity for the industry as a whole, beyond the producer level even, to come together to really come together in fellowship, or as it turns out in 2025, maybe to commiserate with this really bad confluence of situations that we have here, economic, weather, policy, all that have kind of come together and really is detrimental to our cotton industry here in Georgia, but also to learn about solutions, how we're going to improve this situation, what the industry is doing to move us forward, how we're going to meet our consumers, how our mills and manufacturer customers, how we're going to meet them where they are to move cotton production forward in Georgia in 2025 and beyond.
Most of the situation can be attributed to low commodity prices that aren't covering the cost of their inputs. And unfortunately, according to Extension cotton agronomist Camp Hand, the situation for 2025 isn't looking much better.
It's the price of cotton and the cost of the inputs, right? I'd say it costs 90 cents a pound of cotton to grow the crop, okay? But then you are selling it for, right now today, a December 2025 contract is going for 68, 69 cents. So you're 30 cents below or 20 cents below the cost of production. Okay, so that's serious, and so it's it's tough. We've been put in some tough situations because the international market is just a different place than it was a few years ago.
However, according to Hand, even though growers are in a tough spot, the only thing that would make it worse is to not try to grow a good crop, which is why he and other extension experts are there to give growers the tools they need to do so.
At the end of the day, these growers in Georgia, whether they want to be or not, are married to it. You know, what we want guys to know is that if you put the crop in the ground, you got to make it, you know, and so we're trying to give them the tools that they need to make the most out of a bad situation.
Despite the tough economic situation, there is some good news for growers heading into the 2025 season, as Extension plant pathologist Bob Kimwright says that disease pressure growers saw in 2024 shouldn't be a problem this season, thanks to good actual winter weather the state has seen.
Going into 2025, I'm really excited. This cold weather, this snow we've had, freezing temperatures, I call it a reset button, because what happens with the freezing temperatures is we kill off some of our volunteer cotton, which can bring forward, be a bridge. Also, those cold soil temperatures are going to start to send those nematodes to bed for a while, slow them down, maybe kill some of them, but certainly break their life cycle. So what we've had with this cold weather is we are now completely in 2025 season and not bringing 2024 along with us.
Reporting in Tifton for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
Well, months after Hurricane Helene turned the world upside down, one Coffee County farmer is opening up about the long road to recovery. The loss is staggering, but so is the resilience. Their story when the Farm Monitor continues.
Tucker Price is the County Extension Coordinator for Cook County Extension and UGA Cooperative Extension's Southwest District. He has earned recognition as an outstanding agriculture and natural resources agent among his clientele, researchers, industry professionals, and university leadership. He began his extension career in Randolph County in 1995, and during 29 years as an agent, Mr. Price has been committed to professional development, achieving the rank of Senior Public Service Associate in 2020. He has earned 12 national awards, 17 state awards, and received the Distinguished Service Award during the National Association County Agricultural Agents annual meeting in 2010. Since 2012, Mr. Price has investigated and compared 131 individual peanut fungicide programs in commercial peanut fields for efficacy against common peanut diseases, particularly white mold. He also identified watermelon disease resistance to a commonly used fungicide, which revamped Georgia's watermelon fungicide spray program recommendations. Mr. Price has worked to disseminate the data he produces through personal contacts, formal meetings, blogs, posters, and state and national presentations. Congratulations to Tucker Price, winner of the 2024 D.W. Brooks Award for Excellence in Public Service Extension.
Nearly 6 months have passed since Hurricane Helene tore through parts of the country, leaving devastation in its wake. And while for many it's just another storm in the long list of natural disasters, for those directly impacted, the effects are still felt every single day.
Yeah, one of those individuals is Coffee County poultry producer Walt Pridgeon. His family farm, decades in the making, was nearly wiped out in a matter of hours. But despite the loss, Walt and his family refused to walk away. They're rebuilding, holding on to their faith, and proving that farming isn't just a profession, it's a way of life.
Mentally, where are you and your family at? Because there's so much mental stress with farmers right now, and that's always a huge concern. How are you guys doing mentally?
I think it's different for everybody. So we're actually sitting on my dad's property. This is one of Dad's 6-house poultry farms. Mentally, he's probably one of the strongest people I know. Nothing really ever seems to faze him, which is crazy because little nitpicky stuff just bothers me to no end. Mentally, as a family, though, I think we're okay. I think we've kind of accepted that, hey, this is just the reality of the situation. You know, from a business side of things, which is not fun to talk about, but he's worked his whole life for nothing. There's nothing left.
Yeah.
He's lost, you know, just say 45 years of work and equity and building it up. But mentally, I think he's okay. I think he just kind of, he's old school and I love him to death, but he's kind of one of those, we're just going to take it a day at a time, and that's his approach, and it works for him. So we know that we're blessed because it could have been a lot worse. We could have literally lost everything that we had. None of our personal homes really took any damage. I mean, they had to replace a roof on some things and that kind of thing. But as far as, you know, nobody got hurt. Nobody really lost anything that we need to survive daily. And a farm is something just like a building in town. You can rebuild. It's just you got to figure out the best way to do that. So
They often say, Walt, that time heals all wounds, but it's hard to heal when everywhere you look, nearly 6 months after the fact, there's still daily reminders of it everywhere. How do you move on?
that's the question. That's what we're sitting here trying to figure out even now. We're somewhere around a 6-month mark of the storm hitting, and we still don't even really know where to start. There's things that you can kind of do to keep, stuff moving forward as far as cleanup and that kind of thing, but we've lost a generation's worth of work. And it's not just my family, it's families from here to North Carolina down to the panhandle of Florida. I mean, it's widespread devastation like nobody's ever seen. So I don't know how to answer the question of where you start, really. You just, as farmers, we kind of have the mentality of you get up every day and you go and you do whatever you have to do. So I don't even know if we've really even thought about a process of getting started. We just get up and tackle whatever obstacle is in our way when we show up in the morning.
Was there ever a time when you and your dad said, we're done, let's just quit farming, we're done, or do you just keep pushing on?
I don't know that we've ever really had that conversation. There have been times where you kind of look at it on paper and you're like, this doesn't make sense. Why are we doing this? But having faith and believing in the good Lord and knowing that He's going to take care of us at the end of the day, I think is the only way that anybody that really farms can make this work. From a business standpoint, there are things you can do to make it work. I've never really had the mindset of I don't want to do this. This is what I want to do, no matter what it takes to get it done. But I know people that are in that situation that are kind of like, man, I've worked 60 years for this and it all just blew away. Why would we even try to go back and start over? Yeah. So it's a generational thing in that sense too. The mindset of how do you rebuild something that it took 60 years to build and hope that in 60 years you can get it back.
You've been around Farm Bureau a long time. And I hate to pat them on the back as far as like the Young Farmers Organization and things like that, but I think they deserve a lot of patting on the back, the organization as a whole, for what happened in those days after that. Everybody came together. Young farmers got in cars, they hit the road. What was that like, being a part of all that? Seeing these people come to your farm to just lend a hand and do whatever they can.
I'm not really an emotional person, and my wife will tell you that is 100% the truth, but it touched me in a way that I didn't expect. Cam called me, and me and Cam are buddies to a sense, but he came on the committee after I came off, so I know who Cam is. I mean, we've talked, but we're not buddies. We don't hang out,
And this is Cam Floyd from Douglas County. Yeah, from Douglas County.
Which he's up north, and I'm down here, and I don't really have time to go anywhere, but, Cleve called me. Cleve Jackson, who was the chair at the time, he called me and he said, hey man, we're getting stuff together, we're bringing it to you. Wow. And he was like, what do you need? And I said, Cleve, I don't need anything. He said, I know, I'm bringing you a trailer of stuff, what do you need? And I said, well, again, Cleve, I don't really need anything. He said, I understand that you're a farmer, Walt, I get it, you're not going to ask for help, nobody's going to ask for help, I'm bringing it to you, where do you want it? And that turned into Cam calling me, and Cam was like, hey man, I've got a trailer full of stuff, I'm headed your way, where do you want it? And it was kind of like, well, my family was blessed in a sense that we didn't lose anything as far as, homes or freezers or groceries or anything like that. We had generators that we could put on the house, so we were okay. So what I did was I took that to the community center that we have here, and basically was just like, hey, if anybody needs something, tell them to come get it.
Yeah. Lastly, I'll leave you with this. What's the one thing you want people watching this to take away?
We are still here. We're still farming. We're still trying to do everything that we can do to provide safe and quality products, whether that be chickens or cows or cotton or peanuts or trees or whatever. We're still out here farming, and it's going to take more than this to stop us, because when you farming something that, man, when it gets in your blood, it's your calling. It doesn't matter if it takes me $15 million that I have to figure out how to go borrow and rebuild this place. That's what we're going to do. Having a lot less to do around here now, it kind of gives you some time to sit and reflect. And I think that's one of the biggest things. Is like, man, we're all in this together. I'm not trying to do anything that's going to shortchange anybody. I'm not trying to create a product that's going to mess somebody up down the road. I want to put the best. In my case, it's poultry. I want to put the best chicken on somebody's plate that I can. And it's going to take a little time, but we'll rebuild, and hopefully we'll be running back at full capacity at some point, and maybe it'll just keep right on going like it's going.
Walt and his family, like so many here in Georgia, still working to pick up the pieces, literally. Well, big changes at USDA. After the break, meet the new U.S. Secretary of Ag, Brooke Rollins. Her message to farmers, ranchers, and rural America next.
Hey y'all, the Georgia General Assembly has convened again in Atlanta, and because Georgia Farm Bureau is the voice of Georgia farmers, we at the state capitol every day standing for farming families across the state, just like we've done since 1937. Our mission in Georgia Farm Bureau is to work with elected officials by ensuring farmers are able to produce exceptional products that feed families in Georgia and around the world. Our commitment has always been to the producers in our state, enabling them to provide safe, fresh food and fiber that we all need to survive. Thank you for supporting Georgia Farm Bureau, and if you're not a member, consider becoming one now by scanning the QR code you see on your screen or visit gfb.org and look for the Join Today button. Thank y'all again.
Now it's my honor to introduce the 33rd Secretary of Agriculture, Secretary Brooke Rollins.
It is the honor of a lifetime to serve as the nation's 33rd Secretary of Agriculture, and a privilege beyond description to have the trust of President Donald J. Trump and the opportunity to advance his agenda here with all of you. This is a long-term effort, but it begins now. We understand that we are not just federal employees here at USDA. We are servants to the people and to all Americans. And now let's get to work serving the greatest customers in America and the world, all of Americans, but our farmers, our ranchers, and our rural communities. God bless America. Thank you, God, and thank you all here at the USDA. I can't wait to work with all of you. Have a great day. God bless.
Have a great few years together. Yes.
Big thanks to USDA for that, and we wish Secretary Rollins the best of luck in her new role. Speaking of important roles, we of course are dedicated to helping you keep up with any of the stories you may have missed on today's show, and that's why the Farm Monitor YouTube page is for. For inspiring farmer profiles to deep agricultural insights, there's something for everyone, and the archive goes as far back as 2009.
And while you're online, give us a click and a like on the Farm Monitor Facebook page. We love staying connected with our viewers. So if you have a unique story, idea, or just want to drop us a comment or suggestion, shoot us a message either on Facebook or email us at news@farm-monitor.com. For Ray and everyone here at the show, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place, right here on the Farm Monitor.